what are you really thinking about at that moment? What emotions are you having at that moment? Why are you
Yeah.
having them? And what are you doing to change them? Or are you trying to change them at all? Or are you kind of just like sitting in the suffering?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, I'm trying to figure out different ways to cope with those emotions and so that I'm not sitting in the suffering. But right
Well,
now I
see,
am just kind of sitting in it.
well, the thing is you don't need to cope it. You need to change it.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh
we all
yeah.
try to cope with things and we all try to like numb or distract. Like a lot of people, they see coping and it's like they try to find ways to distract them. You know, it's the thing is when you're in these situations, you're only in this situation emotionally or mentally, is because those you have already wired that emotion to that feeling. Like whenever you're feeling this way, that emotion of depression or that emotion of sadness or that emotion of guilt or shame is going to kick in because you've already correlated that with that situation, that action, you know? So, like, once you
That's
have,
100%.
or just a thought. So, like, this is actually the worksheet I'm working on right now. Like, I literally been fucking going through it. So, what it is this is a worksheet that I'm putting together where um, when you're in this situation, this is I'm going to put this in a Google Drive for people to download. Is once you get into this thought, okay, so a thought leads to a choice leads to a behavior leads to an experience leads to emotion, and it goes in a full circle over and over and over again. Now, this is where we need to break the chain. Where when you're in this thought, what choice are you making? Are you choosing to stay in that suck, or are you choosing to do something about it? Right? And then once you choose whatever choice you make, that's the behavior you're going to carry. And then you're going to carry that behavior and you're going to have that experience. So are you going to have a same experience or a different experience? Are you going to have the same emotion after that experience? Because at the end of the day, emotions are nothing but a result of an experience. You know, so if we
Yeah.
can change our experience to change our experience, we change the behavior. Then before that, we change the choice. Before that, we change our thought process. So if we can get into the thought process. And the problem is a lot of people have no control over their thoughts because you're thinking how many thoughts a day. It's a lot to control. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of a form of anxiety in itself, trying to control your thoughts, which you can't, but you can rewire your thoughts. You can't control them, but you can recontrol them or reconfigure them, rewire them to the point where when you have these thoughts, you have a different action. You know, you can't control your thought. You can control your action to the thought, you know, which in then turn your thought will be a different reaction towards that thought. So when you're in this thought process, understand what choice you're making with that thought. That's number one. Understand like what choice am I making when I think these thoughts? Because a lot of people they have these thoughts, they go to they feel like they jump straight to their medication. Oh my God, I'm thinking this, I gotta take my pill, or I gotta take a drink, or I gotta smoke a cigarette, or I gotta fucking do this or that. Then once they get that choice, once they make that choice, that behavior kicks in. Now you've correlated smoking a cigarette to something as finishing your meal. You know, like a lot of people, they eat food and then go straight to smoking a cigarette because that's just the behavior that they chose with that thought. You know what I mean? Now that they do that, they have that experience. And now once they have that, they have this emotion of satisfaction from that experience, you know? So it's kind
Yeah.
of when my thing to you is like when you're in this thought process, make a different choice. Because I'm sure you've made the same choice with that same thought for far too long.
Yeah. A lot of times that's when I want to eat shitty food.
Yeah.
That's my cigarette. That's my,
Hmm.
because it's almost like I don't get depressed, but it still kind of makes, like, I think it kind of puts me into that sadness a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
man, why
probably
why am I
like
still battling this obesity 11 years later? And then I want to feel bad for myself.
exactly. It's like a guilt and shame process, you
Yeah. And
know?
then
So
the
like
food is supposed to be my medicine. And then it
exactly.
just makes me feel like shit, sets me
Yeah,
back.
all over
It's just
again.
a vicious
Yeah.
cycle.
So
Yeah.
that's like realistically in common terms, it's like break the chain or break the cycle. But you have to understand the cycle in order to know how to break it. You know, a lot of people just say, "Oh, just do
Yeah.
something different." Okay, but there is a step process to this, and
Yeah.
to dive deeper into it and know where to break it in order to understand what to expect. You know, but this is definitely something that we're going to be dialing in on as far as creating new habits and breaking old ones and figuring out where exactly to dial in. So as a start, when you get into these thoughts, like if you're having them this morning, make a new choice. And I don't care, I don't give a fuck if it's going to brush your teeth. Just make a new
Yeah,
choice. Don't just
something different.
sit, yeah, don't just sit in the suck, because all you're gonna do is just keep getting sucked in further over and over and over again. Like you said, dude, it's been 11 years since you started at 30. So we don't want to go another 11 years just in the same damn cycle. So make a different
Mm,
choice. I don't care if it's like go for a walk up to the corner and back. Just make a different fucking choice when you are in this negative headspace, you know?